All right, Ben, there's not really any opposition here, is there? And to what extent is that by design?
Well, all of the Central Asian countries are still run by apparatchiks, left over from the Soviet era, and then we've had several presidents being replaced, but all they've done is take control, and there's no real tradition of democracy. So there were five people running in this election, but all the major parties in Kazakhstan basically backed the president. So it was a show, and so he won in Soviet style 80% of the vote. But we look at the other countries. I mean, the agenda is about reform and changes. These guys are not going to make political reforms. They're not going to loosen the noose that they have around the neck of the democratic system. But their agenda very much is economic reforms. And as you mentioned, Kazakhstan is suffering like everyone else from a cost of living crisis. And what this election marks is the end of the takeover of power by Tokayev, because the former president, Nazarbayev, although he stepped down, he remained father of the people, and he was very much in charge of the system. And what Tokayev did was there were riots in January, which were sold as a coup by the administration. And he used that to effectively take control of the power and oust Nazarbayev. And for the rest of the year, he's been consolidating his power, specifically taking Nazarbayev's family out of business. They used to run a lot of the top companies, metal, gold, banks, and consolidating his own hold on power. But now he has a very difficult time ahead, because he's now responsible and clearly in charge. And he has to do something about the economy and the cost of living. Otherwise, we'll see more protests.
Yeah, back during those protests, he ordered security forces to shoot to kill protesters, crack down on those. But after that, he promised that there would be these reforms. He backed away from his predecessor. He actually said that he was going to give up some power, but that didn't really happen, did it?
No, like I say, they're not going to loosen their control, but it's a carrot and stick thing. I mean, the context here is in Kyrgyzstan a year earlier, there was a revolution, the third one they've had since the end of the Soviet Union, and the government and the president was swept out of power within a week. And so Tokayev's reaction to these riots in January was extreme. I mean, he had to take control very quickly, and he triggered the Article 5 of the CSTO, which is like the NATO for the former Soviet Union. The Russians came in, brought troops. They cracked down very hard, shot people. But at the same time, in order to placate the people and to end the protests, he comes with the carrot and starts, throwing money around and guaranteeing prices and bringing staples down and fixing those prices in order to try and get the people happy back on board. And this election is the end of that process, where he's now got a new mandate, and the fact that he won 80% shows that he's very much in charge of the population, and whatever protest movement there was didn't really appear in this election. So, as I say, now the agenda going forward is that he needs to deal with these economic problems, otherwise the social unrest will reappear.
Absolutely. Ben, always good to talk to you. Thanks.